this pattern you'll need a 5.5mm crochet hook. It's an I9 in US terms. Scissors, a darning needle to sew the sides and weave in ends, a couple of locking stitch markers, measuring tape, and then yarn in 2 colors, one main color and a contrast color. I'm using this Divina from Hobbii yarns, and they have gifted the yarn for making the pattern. Divina is Aran worsted weight yarn, so you can use an Aran worsted weight yarn that you meet gauge with. You can find all the info about the pattern on my website at coffeeandcrocheting.com. So this pattern will be using US crochet terminology. We will begin with our main color, and first I leave a tail that I can use for sewing later, but feel free to skip that if you want. Then we attach our hook, make a slip knot and attach our hook. So we will begin with the bottom hem or bottom ribbing. So for that we will chain. So to chain, you just yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So we now have our chains. They look like this, and then we're going to turn them. You see they have a V shape here, and then we turn, and I'll go to work in these back bumps here. So in the second back bump from the hook, we make a single crochet, and then a single crochet in every stitch across. And when we reach the end of the row, we chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to work in the back loop. So here is our V from the top, and usually we go through both like this to make our stitches. But now we're just going to work in the back loop. So that's the back loop here. We insert the hook there and make a single crochet. And then continue to make a single crochet in the back loop all the way across. And then we chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to continue to repeat this row 2 until our ribbing is at the side length. You find the numbers in the pattern. So we have the number of ribbing rows correct now. And then we're just going to continue to make single crochet in every stitch across, or in every ribbing row across. So I just insert my hook here in the ribbing row and make a single crochet, and then 1 single crochet for every single row. So this is up here, that's a row, and then the down here is 1 row, and then up is 1 row, and then down is 1 row. So you make just 1 stitch in every kind of this up, down, up, down, up, down. So now we've made a single crochet in every ribbing row, and then we end the row by chaining 3 and turn. And now we're going to start with our stitch that we then use for the sweater. So we make a double crochet here in the first stitch. Then we're going to start our repeat that we're then going to repeat across the row. So the first thing is to make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And then we make double crochet 2 together. So that's yarn over, insert our hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, yarn over, insert our hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops on the hook. So now we have 3 loops like this, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then we do that again. And then we again make 3 double crochet. So a double crochet was yarn over, insert our hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops on the hook. So 3 double crochet. And then we end the repeat by making 2 double crochet in the same stitch 2 times. So now we make 1 double crochet in this stitch, and then again in the same stitch a double crochet, and then in the next stitch the same. So 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet, like this. That's what will create the nice wave pattern. You can't really see it on row 1, but it will turn out. And then you just repeat that across the row, and you will end on a full repeat. So in your final stitch of the row will be an increase like we did here. So the repeat was 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, double crochet 2 together, double crochet 2 together, three double crochet, two double crochet in the same stitch, and then 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then we just continue to repeat it. So, and as you see, we ended the row with an increase, and then we chain a 3 and turn, and then continue to make the same type of row for the full body until it's time to make the shoulders. We're going to use the contrast color for some of the rows, so I'm going to show now how to change the color. So I undo one of my chains, so I have 2 chains, and then I take my contrast color and hold it here and make a chain with that, and then pull tight the main color here so it kind of locks the stitch, and then we just continue to crochet with the contrast color in the same way. So first a double crochet, then 3 double crochet, and continue the repeat across. And then you do it the same way to change back to the main color. So we've now made whether the length or the front and the back piece as long as it needs before the shoulders, and then I put the stitch marker here for the shoulder. It's X number of stitch from each edge, so it's in the same place from each edge. So first you measure from here, or count stitches from here to there, and then from here to there. But we continue from our working yarn, so we ended with chain 3, and we then continue with our repeat as normal until 1 stitch before the stitch marker. So now we reach the stitch before the final stitch marker. On this size we had it good because we have a double crochet 2 together, and then next stitch would be a double crochet together, and we are going to make a double crochet 2 together, so let's end with the double crochet 2 together. And then we chain 3 and turn. And the next row we start with the double crochet 2 together. And then we continue the row like we normally would, but we jump into the repeat at once. So we make 3 double crochet. And then since we're up here, that means that we need to make double crochet in the same stitch. So we make double crochet in the same stitch now instead of double crochet 2 together. So 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Three double crochet. Double crochet 2 together. Three and then 2 these in the same stitch. Then chain 3 and turn. We make 1 double crochet and then our repeat. So the way you make this varies a bit between the sizes, but the idea is the same. And then in our repeat we now have 2 double crochet together, and the row should end with double crochet 2 together. So we basically just continue with the repeat, but our last stitch is a double crochet 2 together as it should be. So here is our shoulder row, and we can now cut off the yarn and continue with the other shoulder. So here for our second shoulder, we attach our yarn in the stitch with the second stitch marker. So insert our hook, make a slip knot, chain 1, and then we make a double crochet 2 together in the stitch with the stitch marker, and the next one. And then we just continue our repeat. And the next row begins like we usually would start a row. And continue your normal repeat until 2 final stitches. Twice. And now we have the 2 final stitches, so there we're going to make double crochet 2 together. Like that. Chain 3 and turn. Our third shoulder or third row, double crochet 2 together, 3 double crochet, double crochet 2 together, two double crochet in the same stitch twice, three double crochet, double crochet 2 together, and then we cut off our yarn. Leave a tail 3 times the shoulder length to sew the shoulders. Like that. And that's our front or back piece. And then we're going to repeat this another time. So we have 2 similar pieces. So we've now made the front and the back piece, and we place them on top of each other like this. So they match all the way down. And then we're getting ready to sew. If you want, you can place a stitch marker at a place here, so you know where your sleeve starts. I'll actually do that. So I measure from the top down, making sure that the front and the back are matching here. And then I put a stitch mark. So that means that I'll seam until that. And then a second stitch mark, or a stitch mark on the other side. Now I don't measure because I saw where it should end. And we make the seam, we don't fasten off here, so we can easily adjust the seam if needed. Now I just need to make sure that these were correct. And then we start to seam from the bottom up. And here we have again, or here we have our tail we left above the ribbing. And you can start to sew above the ribbing if you want to leave it open here. I'm going to close it. So then I just take my needle and go through the inside of the ribbing, and make sure that you can't, if you see the needle like this, then you have to change and go, so you always go through so you can't see the needle on the right side. Like this. This is now the inside, and there it's okay to see the needle. Like that. Just pull so it doesn't stretch, or pull, and then I'm ready to sew. So then I just start to sew using the whip stitch. So I went over to the other side, and now I'm starting with the actual whip stitch. So I go through both loops on both sides, and then just pull. and continue like that. And continue to seam until you reach the stitch mark. But as I said, don't fasten off if you need to adjust it when attaching the sleeves. And then we'll also sew the shoulders. So then you use the tails you left after the shoulders. Here is my tail. And then just sew all the way until they meet here. Since we have stitches here, it might be a bit neater to use the mattress stitch to sew these, so I'll do that. Then you go under like this, both loops, from one side or from the inside. Then the same on the other side, both loops. And then continue like that all the way across. You can experiment going through only one loop if you want to see how that looks. But I prefer going through both. And then you just pull tight. Not too tight, because then it will show too much. Like this. I find this creating a neat seam for the shoulders. And then repeat for the same shoulder and make the seam on the side. And then we'll add a neckline ribbing. To make the neckline here, we will take our yarn and attach it with a slip knot here on the right side, up in the shoulder seam. And away on the inside. And then we're going to chain 8. So we now have our 8 chains here. And then we make a single crochet in the back bump. From the second chain from the hook. So that's 1. Like that. Now we have 7 single crochet. And then we're going to attach to the sweater by making slip stitches. So we make 1 slip stitch here. And the next one here. And then chain 1. And turn, and then we skip our 2 slip stitches and make 7 single crochet in the back loop only. And count so you have 7. And then you just continue to make 7 single crochet in the back loop, and then attach here with 2 slip stitches. Here you just have to try to get them as even as possible here on the sides, same on that side. But then here you use the stitches, so then it will be 1 slip stitch in per stitch, so 1, 2. And then you just continue until you've reached all the way around. And then you cut your yarn, and then we're going to seam that side here. So the sleeve you start in the same way as the body. So you make a ribbing, and then we're going to crochet single crochets at the top here. So just in the same way as we did for the ribbing, but now we're not going to make only one single crochet in each row, but a different amount. For my size it will be 2 to 1. So here in the first row I make 2 single crochet, then in the next row 2, then in the next row 1, then again 2, so 2 to 1 all the way across until you have the amount of stitches that the patterns tell you. And then after that you just make the wave stitch all the way until your sleeve is at the length you want. Yeah, but just continue like that. So when we've made our sleeve, it's like this. Then it's time to sew it. So you take the sleeve like this and just fold it in half lengthwise, so it looks like this. And then I left a tail in the beginning for seaming that ended up being above the ribbing, but that's an easy fix. So then I just start by threading the yarn here on the inside of the sleeve, just going through the inside so it doesn't show on the outside, all the way down. Just make sure, double check that it doesn't show on the outside. Like that, it's here, so we can start sewing from the bottom up. I always sew the sleeves from the bottom up because then it's quite easy to adjust the length of the sleeve if I need to. Then I just kind of open up the seam here a bit and remove rows if I want a shorter sleeve, or add rows if I want a longer sleeve, but then I don't have to remake the full seam. But if you didn't leave a tail in the beginning, of course you can just take a new tail and sew using that. I will sew this using the whip stitch. So first I just went over so I have been on both sides, and then I start with actual whip stitch, which I go through both loops on both sides, like that, and then again from the same side. You can use any stitch you like to sew, like when you sew. I find the mattress stitch giving a bit of a neater seam, but the whip stitch is a really fast stitch, so I tend to use that more often nowadays. Before I always just used the mattress stitch, but I needed some variation for my seaming, so now I'm using the whip stitch. Make sure not to tighten too tight, because then you will have a seam that shows really a lot. So just tighten enough, and then I make sure that it stays flat, because otherwise you will get a bubble like that. I'll sew now using grey all the way. But if you want, you can of course use the ends here on the white to sew the white. But that's your own preference. But yeah, just continue to sew like this all the way up. Now we have, on the ribbing we have had stitches to go through like this. But then now when we reach the actual sleeve, we will have to go through the rows. But just try to get them as evenly as possible. And you should be fine. Rather too close to each other than too far away. Yeah, and continue all the way up. So we have our sleeve here. And we're ready to attach it to the sweater. So then we have our opening here. We make sure that it's a good opening for the sleeve. So yeah, this one is good. It should be good if you followed instructions in the pattern and have reached correct gauge. Then you just simply start to attach your sleeve using the tails you left. I hide all the other tails so I don't get confused. So then seam just using the whip stitches as you did when seaming the sides, or the mattress stitch like you did on the shoulders. I'll use the whip stitch. Yeah, and then just continue all the way around on the other side, fasting off when you reach the end. Now I'll show you how to make the white edge here, or the edge in the contrast color. It will be the same on all of the ribbings, but I'll show you on the sleeve. So you take your contrast color, and then attach it. Here I attach it in my seam with a slip knot. Chain 1, hide my end on the inside. Now I just want to follow my hand. And then I just simply make one single crochet here in every row, ribbing row. Now I got them a bit different depth. If you want it to be perfect, you can try to get them the same. I want it close to perfect, so I'm going to adjust. It was the first one. I didn't go as deep as the other ones. Yeah, but just continue all the way around. Then when you reach here, you join with the slip stitch, and then if you want, you can add a round of slip stitches in the back loop only to get the edge even nicer. and then repeat on all the ribbing, neck ribbing, second sleeve and bottom hem.